And hello, Burke.
Hey, what is up, everybody?
Woo! Oh man, so I think we're close to shipping, Burke.
You know
It's
what?
been an adventure. It's been a journey.
I was thinking we should just stop now.
You think so? Just like leave everyone in suspense?
Yeah, we'll just like go all the way to the end and then just not ship it. In the spirit of like true software development.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Just to make it as real world as possible.
How many episodes? I'm not sure. Let's.
I feel like we started at the beginning of the summer.
We did. Yeah. I mean, we learned some stuff along the way. It was real world. We experimented with a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Let me share my screen. We'll look at what we're talking about. Add the stage. Here we go. Okay. So this is the job. Yeah, we do have a playlist. Let me bring it up. I think there's an AKA thing for it. It's like, let me see about this. Okay. Oh gosh. Burke. Blazor. I just reinstalled. I just did Windows updates and it undoes my settings to never show the annoying screens. Here's the playlist. 29. This is number 29. Yeah. So we started in 8 months ago. So quite a thing.
I'm gonna change.
So the thing that we're doing, yeah, okay, share the link. Oh gosh. Well, I can share this link. I'll share this. It's not the AKA, but whatever. Cool. Okay, so what we're doing is we are updating this awesome site, which I love and use all the time. Originally written in 2019 using, oh gosh, I'm signed out of everything. I'm originally written in Vue. I don't even know what's going to happen here. Vue, Azure Storage, and stuff. And now we're updating it to modern static web apps. And I'm just going to close this out because it's exploding. But it's a link tracker thing, right? Put together a list of links.
Yes. Yeah.
So
it's a pretty simple app. It's really just it's like a list. Right, it's a list app, which is why it's the word. It makes like a really good demo app, maybe like with practical use, because I feel like most things in life are lists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm just gonna go here. If I put in like, let's say I'm tracking some of my favorite websites. Oh gosh, this is. Okay, and then you can put in a vanity URL for it or not, and you can publish it, and then you can save it, you can share it. When you share it, it has a QR code. I use it several times a week. QR codes are neat. So we're close to done. So I have a list of stuff. I unfortunately somehow signed myself up for just about everything today, but I think it'll be good. So I have pull requests in for most of this stuff already. So if I crash and burn, we can just pull up my pull requests. But some of the main things we got to work through. Number one, the download size is still pretty big. So it's kind of a regression compared to the original app. The original app is super light. It's Vue and Bulma, and it's just super lightweight. It's lovingly crafted, Burke. You did such a job. So it's like 800K, and the current one, I don't have an easy way to show it because I've actually merged one of my pull requests that made a change on live, but it's about like 2.2 meg or something like that. So it's like, yeah, that's a bummer. So so I looked at what I can do to fix some of that. And so here, I think I have to stop running. So if I go into this, what I looked at, and I did a bunch of like, I ran the site and then I looked at what was in the network trace. I don't know if I have it running here anymore because I just killed it. If I look at what's in the network trace, it's a few things. There's this QR code generation thing. So this is happening on the front end. This is a NuGet package. We have AOT trimming going on, but it's got some weight to it. And then I did some other stuff to look at, and I wish I had an easier way to show what was happening. I'll try doing an example of what I'm talking about. If I go to this is going to show with one of my changes already done, and I already did it. Okay, let's take that. The way I've been checking, I think this is probably a dumb way, but it works. I've been checking my download size by creating an in private, make sure nothing's cached and all that. And then I look at this. So this already has some of my changes, but then I went through and I looked at this and I sorted by size, descending. And I was like, what do we need this? Do we need this? Do we need this? And some of the big ones that I saw showing up at the top of the list, there was that NuGet package, and there was there was forms, and there was so the edit form stuff and regular expressions. So I'm going to try and crank through some of that stuff real quick. So step one is let's move this to the server. So I'm going to get rid of that there. And then I'm going to, and I think I'm working on a detached head, which is fine because I think I'm going to throw this away when we're done. So now let's go into the client and we'll put it in there. I've got this new extension I added, Burke.
Oh, it's blocking your settings.
Yeah, and I did that because I think I'm going to have to mess with some settings today. And so this one will display all the settings. This works for every JSON and XML file. But
very nice.
Findall, who sometimes watches our stuff, is the author of that one.
We need that for VS Code.
So there are some, I think, for VS Code. This was the only one I saw for this. There was a few of them for VS Code. But, all right, so we got that guy. Now I'm going to create a new API. So I think one way to do this is just duplicate this. So I don't know. I'm being semi-lazy on this, but paste. I go back and forth. I can do, create a new function, but then I need to do all this other stuff to set it up. So I'll do get QR code. All right. And so now let's rename this. I think I can do it with this. Get QR code. Current project. I just jumped right into things. How you doing, Burke? How's things?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just watching.
It's been a busy week for me. It's been
Me too, man. It's this is just a really busy time of year. Just up through build, really. And then the summertime it gets real slow, which is
yeah,
nice.
that is good. Okay, so here, I think we do here QR code, something like that, and this can be a get, and then I think I can get rid of just about everything in here. I'm just gonna do like I did, by the way. I don't know if I went into this, but this code is copied from the Open Graph thing, and I like spent a bunch of time messing with this. Um, I don't know, just playing with like following redirects and making sure we're getting all the tags and people don't follow the rules, and so I, fix
Yeah, the
clean
open
up.
graph stuff is harder than you think it would be, man. Like you think it would just work.
Yeah. Okay. I think I want the. I don't even need the link. I do need the link, and I keep not capping it. Um, And I think actually here the route is going to be QR code slash vanity URL or link. I don't know. I actually want to take a look at what I called this before when I did it because I want to use the same name just in case I have to copy and paste anything. Mm-hmm. Open Graph, QR code. Where did I do that? Fixes. I just have to make something up. Um, oh, I could be looking at trying to talk and click and do all the things at the same time.
So this is the function to we moved, so the QR code is on the client. I don't know that we've talked through this, but the QR code's on the client and it worked
Mm-hmm.
great. And then in the last episode, I was trying to recreate that with JavaScript because my complaint was that it was like 80 kilobytes
Yeah.
when sent down in WebAssembly code. And the problem was that it really isn't something that's terribly easy to recreate in JavaScript without Node. So most
Mm-hmm.
libraries want you to have Node and they want you to do this build. And like you can do it, but it was just a pain. And I couldn't get it in SVG format easily was the other thing, right? And yours just worked. And so I liked your solution. And the other reason I liked it is because I didn't want to do in Blazor, you can do things with JavaScript, but if you do them with Blazor, it's just more obvious back end what's actually going on, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
we're calling across boundaries and creating QR codes with JavaScript and blah, 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 then whoever comes next has to figure all that out versus just a QR code component in Blazor.
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
because SVG is just a string, I was like, can we create this thing on the server? I bet we can. And that's what you're doing here.
Yep. Now, why vanity URL? It's pulling from the route data. Route equals that. Oh, I have to do. This is a weird thing. So you can put it in the link, but you actually have to, in the parameter, also, you have to say string. So this is just like this weird convention where if you have a route value
You
and
have
you
to
have
deconstruct it. Yeah.
it automatically pulls it out. So, and here we could like clean up that message, but basically it's going to say that it's required. I mean, I'll say something like bad requests. I don't know. That's fine. So now the next thing is I can create using that QR code thing. I can basically do the exact same thing that the other one was doing. So I previously was generating it in somewhere in the client. It was in the QR code item. So we're going to be deleting that. So I'm going to be doing something like that.
Yes, this is the client side component where we were previously doing this.
Yeah. So create an QR code from the okay. And I think this is kind of going to work. Let me see. I need, oh, so here's some weird stuff. I went back and forth on some different things, and it is a string, but it needs to be like the encoding thing is something to work
I
out.
saw that. Yeah, there's some goofy encoding in there.
Yeah. So like in order, because I played with this and it's like SVG is XML. And so like when you like get it back, then you got to deal with like, I ran into stuff where it would like not pass correctly or whatever. It's going through URLs and HTML and all that stuff. So I actually need to, I'm going to be base 64 decoding and encoding it. So let me see. So instead of that, I'll say decode the vanity URL from base 64. Okay. So encoding, yeah, that pretty much is what I want. And this is something where I kind of don't love. I can clean this up slightly because I can get rid of system.txt here.
Why? So yeah, Noob, that's exactly what we're doing. So why do you have to decode the vanity URL? It's just a string.
So the deal there is I ran into a bunch of weird things when I was testing this with the way it was being passed. And I like, it was a whole thing. It was over a week ago, but like HTML encoding, moving the stuff. So I would send oh, you know what it was? It was some of the stuff with the Azure Functions routing. You know what I mean? Because it's being passed here in this get. And so it's coming to like the urls.com / blah, blah, blah / whatever.com. And it wasn't parsing stuff correctly. And I'm not sure how Azure Functions routing works with everything, but that I was getting 404s whenever this vanity URL included .com in it. Because you know what I'm saying? It was like some sort of URL parsing thing along the way was getting screwed up.
But it should never be .com, should it?
Yes, it should. Oh, sorry, this isn't vanity URL. This is the link.
Okay. That's right. That's not the vanity. That's the actual URL.
So that's the tricky thing. It's the URL to the entire page. It shouldn't say vanity URL.
It should just be page URL.
Page link. Yeah. Okay, good call. So here. Okay.
So, but another question, like, why not just pass the vanity and then you construct the URL?
I mean, I could do that. Okay.
But I mean, this way, I guess, like, if it ever changes, we only need to change it on the.
Okay, so I did think about that because what could be kind of neat is all those little cards could even include a QR code in them or something like that. You know what I mean? Like each link on a page.
So it can handle any link.
It can do anything then. Yeah.
I like it. I understand.
All right. Okay. So now I think I can do, and then I actually have to create that generator thing. And that's like a QR. So this is funny. It's actually assuming that I'm using the most popular QR thing, but I'm actually using QR code dot encode or let me see.
See, this is one of the places where like importing it first
Yeah, you're right.
is more helpful, because what happens is Copilot just
It has no
hallucinates,
idea,
although I
right?
learned we're not supposed to use that word. It fabricates methods and properties that don't exist. And it's super confusing because it looks like IntelliSense and it ain't.
Yeah. So you're right, and what I need to do is using like that sometimes will help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you give it the
Specificity.
actual, like, here's what I'm doing. And so that is all good. I do need to do, okay. So that's created the QR code, and then I can do a small amount of stuff. Let me see. Var response, yes. And then await. So we're not returning it directly as an image. We're returning it as a string. Response, that's close, but actually not at all close. Awesome. Write string. Async. And then I can say QR code dot to. This is really cool. I like this about this thing. It's built in.
Yeah, that is really nice.
And then I have some hash values I've got written down. So 1 2 1 2 1 2. I don't even know. That was like whatever.
Oh, these are the colors.
The colors that make the thing look pretty. And then, and I've obviously got some other formatting thing. Hash F9 FAFC. And I've got a double hash. And wow, okay. And then return response. I think I've kind of got it there. This is not great. Var response. I think here I can just do return await. Return that. I think that's actually all I need there.
That's it?
Yeah. So now I need to implement it on the front end. So I'm going to go in my front end to this, and I can actually keep this and just change this to call the back end instead. So let me think about how to do that. I want to do, and another kind of quirky thing is there's this markup string here, and that's how you have to like bind to stuff that is
right, injecting markup into the page.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna delete, or I still need to check if it's a URL, and then I want to say something like var encoded. And so I decoded on the back end, so I need to encode it. Here, let me write the thing. Encode the URL as base 64. It's like you started typing it. You're on your own, buddy. All right. Close. There we go. All right. This is all like technically correct, but I'm like, I wish we cleaned that syntax up a bit. You know, it's like
That right there.
to do something very simple. You know, but whatever. Okay. So now we need to call var No. Okay. So call the API using API code. All right. Hoping to give it enough. No. Bar response. Okay, that's seeming better. Equals X. We don't need. So this is the thing. When I first started playing with this, I'm getting all these weird things back, and I had to read. Oh, this is getting JSON, and it was like having trouble parsing JSON, right?
Ah,
So I just need get async, and I don't need to parse into a response because I'm just getting a string back. So this is like much simpler. For response, get HTTP. What is wrong? Am I injecting a client? I'm not injecting a client, so that will do it. I need to get rid of that. And okay, at inject. That and I need to, and then the text seems to be working. I need to inject. Yeah, it was right. Just let it do its thing. Come on. There we go. Okay, now why is it unhappy? Await can only be used in async. So we'll change that to async. Okay. And now we check. Why is that bad? I didn't inject it with a name. Okay. All right, it still is unhappy because I did using instead of inject. Okay, and so basically everything about that was wrong. Other than that, Copilot saved the day for me. Okay, so now if set yes. Okay. So that should technically do it. I'll have to fix compile errors on initialized async.
Yeah.
Thank you. No.
Because you're not making any async calls. Yeah, you are.
I am.
What's wrong? What's the error?
Because it needs to return a task. And I'm returning void. So
I can tell you 1 second here. Hold on.
So I could fix that, or I could do this, which works, and I'm not sure. I think if I just do async task, it'll work. And I do this. That works.
There we go.
Yep. All right. I'm a little scared, but I think I could run this. So we have encoded URL, QR code. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm giving this about a 50% chance of working.
This is in the QR code component, right? QR code item.
Yeah. So I kept the item in there, and I partly did because, like I was talking about earlier, it might be cool now that we have free QR code generation. We could, I don't know, put it in the footer of the page, or I don't know, do whatever.
Put the component?
Yeah, the components now can go anywhere we want it to. I don't know. We could have a sharing page. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
You mean instead of in the public page?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we could do with it. I just thought it's now we have QR codes, free QR codes, Burke. They're on sale today. Okay. All right. So now let's go to, I think if I go to 4280, I hopefully have my spa proxy still running. I love this animation you put in there.
Why is it taking so long?
Because I'm streaming, and that SWA proxy, man. I checked that I have the fastest one, but it's just every single. I wish maybe there's a way like every single thing that goes through. It's like it proxies every JavaScript file, everything.
Yeah. All right. Now, go back to the list
Okay.
and then go back to the QR code again. So I sent in a PR for this because go back to your public page.
You mean right here?
No, actually open your browser DevTools.
Okay. You're saying it's going every time it's hitting the
Yes,
API.
every time you hit that button, it requests the QR code.
Okay.
So if you want to, I could take over from here. Yeah. And just show you what I did there to change it's not big. And to make it responsive, that was much harder.
Okay. So I think that's good. I think that we're not going to want to commit this code when we're done because I have like a bunch of stuff that's going in. So maybe you want to show me the responsive code, but it'll be kind of like
on
its own separate
thing. Can you do live share?
Yeah.
I want to try something here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do it. Let's see. Live share. I may want to stop sharing. I forget. How do I live share in here? It's been some time.
I don't know. I mean, I know how you do it from VS Code.
Okay, let me see about this live share. Start live sharing session. File, start live sharing session.
And then I'll pull your screen down for a minute.
It's like not doing
so
a thing.
Send it to me in Teams.
Okay, here, file. Or I can send it in this thing too. File. It's start live sharing session. There it is. Signing in. Okay, it's still doing a thing. There it is. Started a session. Now, I don't know how to share this with
Where's the URL?
Yeah, exactly. Live share chat is there. Share. Is it because I'm running? I don't know what's happening. Let me stop.
I don't know how it works in Visual Studio.
Yeah, paste live share in chat. Thanks. Invitation link copied to clipboard. Okay, you want me to put it in Teams then?
Yeah, just put it in Teams. I'll pull you down for a sec.
All right. It's very exciting.
Open in Visual Studio Code. Open. Don't save.
Are you going to share your screen or?
No, it'll show up on yours. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay. It's not showing the live share chat thing anymore though. Is it connecting okay?
That's a great question.
It does seem like it's going.
It's joining. It's trying to,
okay.
At least.
Send it to anyone you trust. I think I trust you.
That might be a...
Fritz would have shared it with everybody. That's true. Honestly, I don't really care. This is a detached head. We can... there's a way, too. I can share as a view thing.
Yeah, it's trying to join. Not having a lot of luck, though. No, don't open the remote. Close the remote.
Okay. if this takes a while, we have a chunk of stuff to get through. So maybe I will. Maybe you can just show your code if it takes a while. I'm being pessimistic.
Come on, live share. Don't let me down. Where was the URL you sent me? Was in Teams.
In Teams, yeah.
Copy link. Admittedly, this is harder than it should be.
Oh no. Fool Snabble coming at us with some difficult. Is this untrust? Is this an untrustworthy?
There we go. Okay, so now what I want to do here is
you're putting me back on screen then, huh?
Here, yeah. So now I'm going to what did I do here? So currently, the way that we're showing this, let me see what I did. So first of all, in the QR code item, I ended up wrapping this thing in a class called QR code, right? So this is for the responsiveness.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then
things.
Did I do something? And then yeah, let's make a CSS file.
So I can see you creating the CSS file if I go here.
Are you following me?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. So then we're QR code. And then what we want to do is, this was tough. I'm not going to lie, but basically I'm using the calc property to calculate the height of the page and then set, and I'm removing like essentially the top part of the app from that. That's the 200 pixels is like the banner, so that I know how tall to make the QR code. And then the rest of it is just taking the SVG and setting the width and height of the thing to 100%. Cannot type. Where are you at, Copilot? Oh, I don't have Copilot because that's why this is so hard. All right. So now if you rerun it.
That's it?
No. There's one more thing we got to do, but this should make it at least responsive. So let's just check.
I'm going for it. Leroy Jenkins.
I can actually see it running on this side. That's crazy.
That is exciting. Okay. All right. I feel like we never totally set things up. Like the launch profile on Windows and VS Code could be a little better integrated with.
I've tried a couple of times, but the Blazor, the .NET Watch traps the process, and the emulator can't continue to the next step, which is to. So that didn't work at all. Question is, why not?
That's responsive.
Kind of, but if you go all the way out to full screen, it shouldn't disappear below the page. Oh, I know why. I can fix it. Can't fix it. When you can't apply element level styles in the scope styling.
You can't.
You cannot.
Why is that?
Yeah. And I don't know why that is. So I'm going to move it over to the app CSS.
Okay.
And you got hot reload?
Yes.
All right. So you should be able to just go there. I already did it. I just moved it.
Okay.
There. See?
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. This is making me so happy.
Isn't that nice?
That's beautiful. I love it.
All right, now we're going to do one more thing, which is to make it so that it only requests it once and not multiple times. And the reason why that's happening is because in the public page, the way that we're doing this is we're actually removing the element from the DOM and then adding it back. And we don't want to do that. Instead, we'll just control visibility with classes. So,
okay, question though. Does that then force it to hit the QR endpoint for every page hit?
Every time that you toggle between the list and the QR code. It
Okay.
re-renders that component, and that on initialize async fires again. And we don't
Okay,
actually want to remove it from the DOM. We just want to make it invisible. But Blazor doesn't really have a construct for this. We have to do it with CSS.
Okay, question then. Does that mean every public page that gets viewed, it's hitting the SVG endpoint?
No.
Because if it's in the DOM but not visible, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter.
I think it is. Yes, it will be.
So either way, it could work. I don't know how much people are actually using that SVG link. Might be a little extra. Yeah. Okay.
So let's see here. Why does this feel wrong? It's not tokenizing this correctly. But we're going to pull this out, and we're going to pull this out.
I bet there is. I think you can make stuff visible or not visible with Blazor.
How?
Okay. Or another idea is that the component itself could cache the SVG value from the API hit.
But it's being removed every time and regenerated.
Okay.
Like it's destroyed, it's gone and then recreated.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. So then in this, again, there might be a better way to do this. I bet Blazor does provide a way to do this, just because I feel like this is not a, this is something other people will hit too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've visible. Huh.
So it's not tokenizing this correctly, but this, I think this actually is correct. So all we're doing is adding this is hidden class, which instead of saying display none, says visible hidden. So it's actually still there. You just can't see it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to want to dig into Blazor visibility, because it does feel like something that you could. Okay. So should it work now?
Oh, it does. It looks right on your screen. It's wrong in VS Code. The tokenization is on the, but yeah. Let's run it and see if it.
All right. Let's see if hot reload's happening.
Doesn't look like it.
I may need to stop and start. I don't know if it's.
It should pick that up, right? Just refresh
function. I've got all my console windows going. This one's unhappy. That one's my function again. This is this. Client's still running. Let's try a reload. Okay. Now
look at the inspect.
Okay. Fetch. I'm not sure what that.
Yeah, it's definitely getting the QR code. So inspect the page.
Okay. Inspect the page, the elements like this, or.
Yeah, and then just like look at the QR code. I just need to see the code.
I'm not seeing anything about.
No, it doesn't look like it's been updated. I don't see the markup that I added.
So here Miguel's saying the condition's reversed or is not reversed.
No, it's right.
In here?
On real quick here. Let me see.
Yeah, I think that does look right. But we can play with that.
Can you share the port with me to this application so I can view it locally?
I said sure, but I'm not sure how.
To share the port?
Yeah.
Um,
I used LiveShare a bunch a while ago, and I have not since. LiveShare. Here. Share.
live share port. I mean, in Visual Studio Code, there's a whole like view where all these options are.
LiveShare configuration.
Hold on, let's see here. What do I see?
View other Windows LiveShare. That's it. Okay, view. You know, Visual Studio's been around for 25 whatever years. There's a lot of Windows in here. Okay, LiveShare.
There we go. Share me that port. Shared
Okay,
servers.
so right click maybe. Copy
Yeah. Hold
Or is
on.
it this? Manage shared server. I don't know what's
It's telling
happening.
me access to localhost was denied. So it's like
Okay.
it is sharing, but it's not working for me. That's odd.
Copy server URL.
No,
Open source.
it isn't working. It actually is there, but I can't.
Okay.
For me.
All right.
So yeah, restarted. I think.
Okay. Well, if this doesn't work, I want to keep going because I've got some other cool stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So we've got, okay, so we did the thing about that. There was two other things. I fixed a bug in the API and I shrunk down, I shrunk down the download size. I mean, I can just show my pull request and move over to that.
I'll do that. Hold on. I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. So the other thing that I saw with this was that the download size was kind of big, partly because, yeah, so Janisku, like we could use like image sharp, generate QR code with the logo. You can actually do that in anything. So what's awesome about, I read all what's neat with QR codes is they have tons of image correction or error correction in them. And I'm seeing that my connection is unstable. So let me know if I unintelligible. QR codes have a bunch of error corrections. Let me see. I close out some functions, some things. Okay, it's coming back, it looks like. Okay, hopefully I'm back. QR code spec has a bunch of error correction built in. So you can basically slap stuff on top of it. You can put images on top and it just works, which is awesome. I'll just show off some other things that I did. One is that I found that the, here, let me change my zoom level because that's driving me crazy. I I profiled the download size and am I still Gallowbot? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know if I'm still robot.
What's up?
Burke, I did some talking and it looks like I went robotic for a bit. Okay, it looks like I'm audible.
You're good.
Now.
Yeah, you sound all right.
Okay. So a couple of I'm back to normal, unfortunately. Okay, so some things that I found out in the front end was that if we go to the I think it's new link, we're using this edit form. I remember this was something we went like did tons of experimenting back and forth on. What I found out was when you use the edit form, it pulls in a bunch of other stuff. It pulls in some like reflection and some other things. And it increases your download size a chunk. And I guess the reason is because the way that this, let me see if I can pull up the, there's actually like an issue on this. The way that it does the management, no, I don't have it handy. The way that it figures out what's in the form is by like inspecting and iterating over stuff. And it's like, it causes a bunch of processing to happen. So I actually just replaced this. I'm just going to do a copy and paste to save a slight amount of time. But I went from this to this. and it's just a standard form.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why it's unhappy link value. I think it's because link URL is now a thing that I'm going to pull in. So link, I have to create a link value thing, link URL. So let's go down here and do that. String link URL. So fine. And then we can do we change on valid submit. Let's see if that fixes this up here. No, because new link also needs to be show potential. It can't convert. I'm just going to keep coding and I think I'll fix it. I need to now do some other stuff with a binding. I need an elephant element reference.
Elephant.
I would love an elephant reference. Element, yes. Element reference. Yeah, look. It's funny. It's very picky. Okay, I got to hit it just the right time. Now I think it's closer to happy. And then I also need to have. So what I'm doing here is, in the past we were relying on a bunch of like events and properties that were going to be set automatically, and now we actually nice element in the room. So we were depending on the form to do a few things, and now we're doing them manually instead. So I'm going to have another thing which is like an invalid flag. And so it's let's do this private dual, and that works. And then now we're down to not too much left. Bind value. I think I need to change. Not sure why it's. I need an on submit, so I think that'll get us a lot happier. So I need to change from on valid submit to on submit. And so what we were doing before is the form would say only allow submitting when the form is valid.
Right.
Now it allows submitting whenever, and then we have to do our own validation. So I can manually do that pretty easily. So I'm going to say right at the top of this, I'll say, I mean, that's close, but not quite. But we'll start with that, I guess. And I think invalid. Okay, fine. I actually want to move. Before we were validating using, part of what all this stuff was relying on was regular expressions validation. And so I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to get rid of this regular expression. And it's a little painful, but it's actually not that big a deal, because all this is doing is saying, is this URL? Is this a URL?
Right.
So yeah, so this thing, it's basically a wrapper around a form. It's a really nice wrapper around a form, but it is a wrapper around a form. So it handles all the validation. It works with these data annotation validations and stuff. It's very sweet, but it does cause some file size. And there's basically kind of no way around that. So, all right, let's go back in here. Let's go back in here. I've kind of blown this up, and I'm not sure. ID equals new link can't convert from that to that. I'm not sure if there's a fix. No. I'm just going to kind of keep coding away, and then I'll probably throw this code away when I'm done, honestly. So one other thing I want to do is validate that it is a valid URL. And what I did for that is I created this validate URL function, and it's just kind of like cobbled together from like stuff I searched for. and played with. So does it start with HTTPS? And then I use, there's built into .NET this URI thing. And so I said, like, is it a URI? Does it, like just did some like basic checks. There's some weird stuff with that because my first code that I wrote said, try create URI. There's actually a bunch of things that will pass for a URI, including a local slash, like a relative reference with / or file : / or C : / like all kinds of things are actually. So you actually have to say, okay, it's a URI and it actually is a valid URI. So now
why not just use the regular expression?
Okay, when you do that, it pulls the entire regular expression engine down as part of your download, as part of your. So this got me from 2.1 megabyte download to 1.4.
I mean, that's huge, but how much of that is the regular expression?
A chunk. It was hundreds of kilobytes.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the reason is it's pulling down a whole regex engine, and it does. And I tried doing source gen, and like I mean, yes, I could do regular expression, but I really don't need it. Like I'm just validating a URL. Like this is a few lines of code. I think this would actually.
It's kind of verbose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's also very clear what it's doing. It's saying
that is true.
I mean, I don't know. This here replaces about 200 lines or 200, 300 kilobytes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Here I'm gonna say if I think not validate URL. Here, I'm just going to write some. Yeah, that's basically it right there. So this URI validation could be moved somewhere else. And also, like, this is different than standard regular expression validation, right? Because this is saying, include HTTP. So this allows our kind of fake URI validation and stuff. So, all right, that's basically it. There's one other one here, which is this vanity URL, regular expression. And this one here, where we validate our vanity URL, I forget, that's in link details.
Link bundle details.
Yeah. So here I need to say like validate vanity URL. And for this, I need to say something like check if vanity, if contains anything but is invalid. So it's like regular expression.
Yeah.
So I'll show you what I ended up doing here. I'll just grab it because it's less boring than watching me type a thing. But that actually is super easy because it's like, is it letters and numbers? Okay, scrolling. Letters, numbers. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this actually was not, it's link bundle details. It is in is list invalid. And then I change. Oh, are you in here?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm trolling.
Okay, so line 73, I think. No, I don't even know what's happening. So I just say if vanityurl.any.
And then return. You just return out of that.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, yeah, that basically works. So, yeah, that's funny. You wrote basically what I was going to do.
I know. I copied it out of your.
Oh,
PR.
beautiful. I was like, Burke, you're so fast. Okay.
Hold on. Let's see here. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay. So, and then state container, there's an error here. I'm getting ready actually to kind of like just revert this and merge my pull request.
Yeah.
So yeah, the question here from Noopd, can the API could handle all the validation, and that's true. It's a question of how chatty we want to get calling back and forth. And it's a balance too, because this is like adds no download size. It's like 3 lines of code. Why not validate on the client? So the balance I was working off of was getting rid of the edit form and getting rid of regular expressions and moving SVG to the server. Those 3 things cut off like a quarter of our download size, which was kind of a big deal. I want to show off one other thing that I did.
Moving it to the API.
I mean, it is more responsive this way, though. You know?
Yes, it's not a. So there are bonuses to this, right? Like in that case, you only have to do validation in one place. That's the most obvious. And that we can use regular expressions because we don't care what the size on the server is. The downside would be whatever the speed. What kind of speed are you sacrificing? In other words, like do you enter the link and then wait like 4 seconds to be told that it's not a valid URL, or is it pretty quick? Is kind
it's
of
like instant as you're typing, right?
Exactly. It is now on the front end, but I mean that's an interesting thing,
it's definitely
right?
like maybe we could have a validation endpoint. Yeah.
Maybe when working with Blazor like this in WebAssembly and static web apps specifically, we need to shift our thinking to being like, what can we do on the server? Yeah. Everything that we can do on the server, we do on the server.
I mean, I guess yes. I feel like this is 3 lines of code. Like, is this worth a server hit to do that? I don't. Maybe. I mean, I think the main thing I think is you keep all your rules in one place, whereas here it's kind of client and server.
It's spread out. Yeah.
Okay, I want to show one other thing.
I mean, we're not going to change this, but I'm just like, it's an interesting point.
Okay, Burke, this is something I'm proud of. So this, when I was doing all the profiling, I saw that this image here is like 100 and something K, 140K. And we display it in a 500 by 500 pixel thing. And I looked at that. I'm like, this is pretty simple. So I actually converted this to SVG. So I want to show real quick because I was relatively proud of that. So if I go here.
So did you just like bring it in and have Inkscape do the conversion, or did you draw it yourself?
Okay, I tried drawing. Man, now it's like, the file's gone because I'm in a detached head. So I'm going to throw away this detached head and go back to the thing. I tried tracing, and then I was like, you know what? These are really simple shapes, and I just drew over the top. I just literally just brought it in and drew over the top of it. So if I go to get, I think maybe if I just do this, let's go to main. Let's discard changes. Because we were off last week, but both of us have been doing some coding away in the background. So I'm going to throw this away, sadly, Burke. but we have your PR on that. And we need to close our PRs because we
yeah, we're out of staging areas.
We are sad. Okay, so now let's check this out. This is my. That's so funny. Inkscape was like, I can't open this file. Open. I don't know what it's going to do. This is going to be a mess. I'll try one more time here. If I go to that, open with. Inkscape, yay! I'm a fan of Inkscape. I've been using that for a long time.
I know. I feel like you own stock in that company.
I totally do. It's an open source thing, you know. But yeah, I'm a fan. They So I just went in here. What was cool was I drew this thing one time. Each of these things is a like this is a circle. But basically, like I drew it one time and then I just copied it and then I recolored one of them. And when I did that, I brought in the old image and then I just used the eyedropper thing, whatever, to like grab the colors. So yeah, what is Inkscape? It is a free open source
graphical
SVG editor. Yeah. So here, let me
like paint.net or
yeah.
It's the OG. Like, I don't want to pay for Photoshop.
So not Photoshop. So GIMP is Photoshop.
Oh.
Inkscape is just for vector graphics.
Okay, so that would be like, what's
the
comparison? I don't even know.
Illustrator.
Illustrator, that's it.
Similar to Illustrator. But Illustrator is like illustrations, vector graphics, and it'll output to SVG, but that's not like, this is pure straight up, all it does is SVG. So anyways, so by doing that brought us down that cut off another 100K, which I was proud of.
That's huge. Yeah.
Okay, so then we have one other thing before we talk about our production move, which is there's a bug, there's an error, and the error is when we ran it, you started noticing this. This is funny because this SVG is just XML, but I have this, Dendal has that thing so it hides all the values just in case. Okay, the thing that I found out was you were saying like something's going on with the API. It's not working. I'm not able to edit and update stuff. So when I looked at it, I saw there were two big problems. One is that our hasher was not actually being used. And I was like, how could that even be? But then I realized that previously the hasher was not used, right? I don't think we're hashing. The in production hasher thing is not actually hashing stuff, I think is true.
I don't know.
So when we do any of these, let's do create link bundle.
Oh, it's not actually hashing anything?
Well, if we go into hasher, it's pulling this stuff from environment variables, which is not even a thing. Like it needs to pull those from configuration.
That's not the same thing as a configuration?
No. So what I ended up doing, I'll just show my pull request on this because we're short on time, but I moved hasher singleton service. So what I did, I started looking at this and I was like, okay, we need to DI inject configuration into the hasher, and then each thing that uses the hasher needs to use it and all this stuff. And it was like turning into a big thing. And so is it going on singleton service? Okay, I need to check. What I did here was I moved Solution Explorer, Program, Hasher. So here I set the configuration.
Ah, okay.
So I set it one time on startup and it pulls from config. That way it'll pull from our local settings JSON, or it pulls from app settings or whatever in production. So then now anyone that uses it, we can use that singleton service. So Git Open Graph doesn't need it, but this one does. And so here we pull in a hasher with DI. So anyways, now anything that's using hasher isn't creating a new one. It's using the DI one, which is already pre-configured with the values. So that fixed that. And then there's one other place that I saw was not handling the hashing right. And that was because on the client side, oh, this is what it was. Last little spiel here. On the client side, when we were doing the edit form was not, it was always just saving. It wasn't saving or updating. And so I needed to add a few lines of code here, which is, no, what is happening? I thought I had saved this. On edit, basically we need to check if it's, oh no, it's not here. Sorry, it's linked to you. We have a lot of things, a lot of code. Okay, here, link bundle details. We need to check if it is edit, is published. So if it's published, then we need to say, we need to, instead of here. So it's like 4 lines of code to fix this.
Yeah, if it's published, then do the
a put.
And then otherwise do a post.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's basically it. So I think now what I would like to do, I tested that here. I'll test it out, and then we can merge our pull requests, and then we can look at we can talk about our data migration.
Okay.
For a few minutes. So this has basically all, I think this has most of our pull requests. Once we do this, we can merge pull requests. Yeah. Okay. Close. Inkscape, I will say one thing about Inkscape is it can be a little bit big on memory usage. But yeah, I'm just such a fan of this. You can what's neat too is, I mean, it's SVG, so it's infinitely zoomable now, and it's just like, it's really pretty. Save changes, close without saving. Yes.
I'm cleaning up environments, by the way, here.
You're doing what?
I'm cleaning up environments.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Let's delete this one. That should free up. Yeah.
It's funny because before you were saying like, John, something's wrong with the API. And I was like, it can't be, because I tested. Remember, I had that HTTP file and I was testing save and everything, but It wasn't actually calling that stuff from the client. So here, loading my lists. Now it's slow on my machine because of the swathing, but okay. So now let's add. I don't know. Can we add? Okay. Great. Now I'll publish that. So it's doing the updates. It's hitting all the stuff. It's running in debug locally, so it's taking. Oh, and it's hitting a breakpoint. It would take forever there. It's hitting another breakpoint. This was me validating that it actually was doing the updates. So there it saved and redirected. And if I go to my list, go to that, and we'll go delete.
Okay.
If I go, okay. Very exciting. Okay, it's funny. I think, yeah, the repo is public. I'll put a link to it in the chat. So what I was going to say, I think that Microsoft rate limits or something hits to Microsoft.com when it detects you're a robot.
That's why it kicks out the Open Graph stuff.
Yeah, so it does respond, but it takes forever. I increased the timeout on it. But yeah, so if I go to this, go to that, let's add in Google.
And then edit the Microsoft, edit like the text somewhere.
Okay.
Take that out. Yeah. That's fine.
No, we need Unicode. We haven't tested our Unicode.
No, we haven't. That's true.
Uh-oh. Did it not save? It didn't save the details.
It didn't save the details. Yeah.
All right. I still want to merge this and then look into more like that updates specifically, because I want to consolidate down our environments and then flag a bug.
Yeah, it's a bit messy. Let's do that.
Okay. I did notice, by the way, there's funny things. All these like the biggest sites on the internet. So Microsoft rate limits you. Google doesn't include a bunch of stuff. They don't have a like basic description. They don't have any Open Graph tags. Facebook, Twitter, like all of them like have weird, they're not actually valid HTML or whatever. So yeah,
they don't care. They don't need to.
Yeah, they totally don't.
Do whatever they want. Yeah.
Everyone's gonna have to work around us. Okay, it is an exciting time. Let's merge a bunch of PRs. I do find this is working. Okay, so first of all, this hasher to singleton service.
I just reran this. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not sure we have your responsive thing included.
You do. Use classes to control visibility. That's it.
Okay. All right. You can tell I've been using the GitHub generating.
Yeah, because nobody.
Oh, so this thing here, this is the thing I was going to say, by the way, which is like, why is so this is using reflection and it's doing a bunch of stuff. These are all very, very smart people. Ben Adams, like all these people. And then Stephen Taub, genius. And then somebody said like, oh, Steve Sanderson told me that it's always going to pull in reflection if you're using forms. So anyhow, that's, yeah. All right, so let's go back here. Let's go back here. Uh-oh, I have conflicts. Oh no. Oh, what to do here? I think I want to take my incoming. Let's see what's happened. Delete it, entire repo and restart. Why not? Commit merge.
Get push -F.
Okay, so once we merge this stuff, so we have that issue on description, but I think like it's actually working now, and it's like relatively tight file size.
Next time, we definitely should try to start moving to a production environment, right? Like the rest of the stuff is details that we don't need to bore the chat with, I think. But as far as like moving to production goes, John,
yeah,
I don't think we can host this on our Microsoft accounts or any Microsoft account. And in fact, I think we should get it off there. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them is that as long as it's a Microsoft thing, like it's subject to GDPR and things like that. And I don't want to have the compliance stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And then the second thing is like, what happens when Burke gets fired or John gets fired, right? Like that's a problem. And then what happens when, what was the other thing? So there was the compliance. There was like, if somebody leaves, and then the other thing is like, people can put anything they want in these lists.
Right.
And
right.
That's another thing I don't want Microsoft involved in.
So this is a cool link sharing service. We've done some best effort stuff and we can add in some moderation, but we don't want to like we don't want Microsoft to have to worry about link sharing that includes bond
Right.
making.
Why is this being hosted on this app that Microsoft owns, right? Like you don't
Right.
want to end up in the news that way.
And
So I'm really keen to get it off of that.
That makes sense. You know, another thing is I don't know. So I'll have to mess with these you know, merges and stuff. We'll figure that out. Orcs failed to build the solution. So I'll figure out this stuff afterwards. But yeah, I think too, like you're saying, like we want people to be able to other people to contribute to. You
Yeah.
know, hopefully as it goes live, people can add in more like features, you know. I would love to see, we talked about making a browser extension, you know, so you can say like, hey, we can share, you know, I've got these 5 tabs open, add them all to a URL list or something.
Yeah, exactly. And
So.
the only other thing, the big thing from to go to production, John, is like, how do we handle Twitter auth and the people that currently are signed in the database? Because Twitter auth doesn't work anymore with static web apps. It's not going to work unless we upgrade to a standard plan where we can implement the custom auth, in which case it will work. And the reason for that is because the way static web apps does auth is that it basically everything goes through the static web apps registered app. So you don't have to set anything up. But Twitter basically shut that down and was like, nope, we're not doing that. So we have to register an app with Twitter directly, which we already have done. But then
Can we reuse that same app or do we have to create a new one?
we can reuse the same app. Yeah, absolutely we can.
Okay.
But then we're paying $9 a month for static web apps.
Is it, yeah, let's talk about that. What is static web apps hosting cost?
It's free, and then standard plan is like $9 a month, and then the one up from that is like an enterprise plan, and I think that's like call the sales office to get more pricing information.
Right. Okay. So
look at the pricing. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's all they tell you. $9 a month.
We can talk it through. I think because we do get Visual Studio Azure, like a personal Azure account.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah.
So we could use under that one of us.
Yeah. I mean, it would be covered. It's like that is a thing. You know, you're taking on a $9 a month in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Charge.
I wonder. I mean, is there a way that's non-skeezy to do some sort of small advertising supported or buy me a coffee supported or something like that? You know, get a few, I don't know, Patreon. That'd be interesting to kind of think through. And for people watching, you know, any ideas you think on, I mean, it's not like $9 a month. It's
not that big. No, it's not that big of a deal. It's just that I'm hesitant to take.
It's $120 a year.
Yeah. You know. It's just I'm hesitant to take on any cost, even though Microsoft, I have a credit every month that should cover it. It should be fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I think that's probably what we'll have to do, because the only other option, and I thought about this, is to say like when people log in with Twitter, when they click on Twitter login, that basically we tell them, hey,
we've moved.
Yeah, this is gone. Right. Yeah. And then we build a separate, we bounce them over to the other app to get the Twitter token, bring them back, and then say, now link up with one of these other social providers. Like, this is not easy, right? There's this whole like dance that has to occur to get people off of Twitter and onto another identity provider. I don't think it's worth it.
We're doing all that work just to work with Twitter. Like all the other identity providers just work. Is that true?
They all the other ones just work. I mean, it is possible for us to also just tell people, like, have a Twitter button when it says login with Twitter. Basically, just tell people like Twitter login is gone. If that's you, can you please just send us an email, and then just wait to see who sends us an email? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like contact support, and we'll migrate you to a different provider.
Can we automatically migrate them?
How?
Check your new provider here. We have all their info. I don't know. I'm going to put down a thing here. Figure out
how to migrate Twitter users and get rid of Twitter auth altogether.
Or just say we'll deal with it and pay $120 a year, which kind of stinks. Okay. Well, that's a thing to think about.
All right.
But other than that, I think there's nothing else really we got to do. I think it's working app. I love, by the way, when I'm using it, I love the browser storage is huge. We have better Open Graph support. Yeah, there's a lot of nice features, and also now I understand all the code base, and I'm very excited to be
confident. Yeah.
Well, I feel like we could add other features in pretty easily. It's pretty understandable.
I agree.
So,
all right, that's it then.
This is good stuff. Okay, well, thanks everybody. So I guess for next time we'll try to have some migration plan going and maybe do a go live thing. Or, okay, there's maybe 2 steps. Step 1 is we spin up a site. We don't repoint the domain, but everything else is basically it's running in production with the migrated data. And then maybe we have a season finale show where we
repoint the domain and then drink beer the rest of the time.
There you go.
All right, awesome. All right, chat. Have a good weekend.
Good stuff. Yeah, let us know in your comments too if you have ideas on what you'd like to see with the Twitter auth and the paying and all that stuff. So, all right, I'll play the music. Here we go.